Welcome to the Feel Good Lab podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Gresh. Join me as we bring together the brightest minds in health and wellness, covering topics from sleep and nutrition to exercise and mindfulness. Our goal is to give you actionable advice to optimize your health and ultimately to feel good. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Feel Good Lab podcast. And I took a little break and I met somebody about 1 week ago and I had to have him on. So we're doing another episode here. I got my man, Jesse Egbatse. Oh man, you just gave it to me, Egbatse. But the reason I messed it up is because he's more commonly known as Coach Shark. That's who he is to me. Coach Shark. This guy is an absolute beast. He played college football, but even more than that, he's out here every day helping people live their healthiest lives. So Coach Shark, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and what makes you such a beast?
Well, I'm a coach by identity. So I originally got my bachelor's. I went to Long Island University. Shout out to the Post Pioneers, who are now called the Sharks, actually. That school now goes by the Sharks. Nuts. But I originally got my bachelor's in biology. I got my master's in healthcare administration. But for the longest time, I've always identified as a coach. And currently I work as a health coach. I also like to consider myself as a Centurion health coach because a good amount of my clientele are generally those who belong to the Centurion Club. This would be American Express and things like that. That's for the most part, that's my level, or that's my approach of what I like to do. Originally in the past, I played college football. I was very good at it. I treated it like a craft, kind of like what I do now. I'm also a tech founder. So, there's a lot happening in the shark waters.
And you practice what you preach, right? We were just talking about it off camera. Like, you're living the grind, right? Working your daily hustle, also trying to start a new company, burning the candle on both ends. But here's where you started to really blow my mind. And I'm like, we got to chat. First, we connected on the Aura ring, right? So I got my Aura ring on here. And then you're like, you had 3 rings, you had a Whoop, you had all this stuff. And you're like, dude, you got the Apple Watch, you got it all. So you're like a practitioner, right? And, I hate using the term biohack. It's so overplayed nowadays. But, how do you, from this technology standpoint, but how do you kind of practice what you preach and make sure that you're able to function at your optimal? And then we can get into some tips, because you blew my mind when you're talking about HRV and some of these stuff like crazy. But, how do you kind of use these tools?
So I like that biohack term and name it has been used a lot, and some people don't do it justice, but I still think that term has a place in when it comes to wellness. And I like to consider myself as a biohack power user. That is somebody who obviously can't get enough metrics. I got to cross section these metrics with these metrics with these metrics with these metrics, just to make sure that
I gotta pause you. What's the hierarchy right now for you? Who do you think is doing it the best?
Ooh, I love this question. Okay, so hear me out on this. These guys, they're holding it down really well. The only thing is they're very clunky.
We talking Apple Watch?
We're talking the Apple Watch. The next best thing, in my opinion, I would say is the Aura Ring. Because because the thing is, they'll give you the metrics, and also the battery life is pretty,
it's a pretty dope fashion statement. Do you know how many people stop me and recognize the Aura Ring?
Absolutely. You can wear Rolex or whatever the case is with it.
They don't care. They care about the Aura Ring.
You're still getting your metrics, so that's the hierarchy. I would say the Whoop comes next. It's not a ring, but it has a lot of horsepower. It's almost like the Aura Ring with a lot more horsepower.
Yeah.
And then comes the Ultra Human. The Ultra Human they're still finding exactly what their strength is. But I mean, for the most part, if you're a power user, you'll see it as that. But if you're just someone who likes using this kind of tech, I think their UI is very, very good. But in terms of, things like battery life and other things like that, I'd probably give it to the Aura Ring. So yeah, so in that order, with that being said, I probably go to sleep with the Aura Ring. I'll
Yep.
take this thing off. It's way too clunky. Sometimes I'll keep the Whoop on if I don't got to charge it, and
All right,
whatever.
little challenge for you. Who got better sleep last night since we're both rocking the Aura Ring?
Oh,
Quick check.
oh,
I already checked. I was at 79. Not
oh,
bad. I was 91 readiness though, so I was feeling pretty
oh,
good this
yeah.
morning.
No, my readiness can't keep up with yours. I am at. Let's see. Just bear with me here. I still gotta wait for it to load. So my are you on the first page or
Yeah,
whatever?
the first page. Yep.
Okay. Why isn't that showing my ready? Oh, there it goes. My readiness is at a 71 and my sleep is at a
Oh, I
73.
caught you on a good day. I thought you'd blow me out of the water.
No, well, I mean, click the sleep tab. Let's get into the let's get into the deep, the deep metrics. So I do want to explain a slight caveat to you though. So in the sleep tab, what do you have for your heart rate and HRV?
So my lowest heart rate 44 beats per minute,
Okay.
and then HRV 45.
Nice. Wow, man. That's the founder's life. So my heart rate is 42
Yeah.
and then my HRV is 169.
Wow. So why don't you explain a little bit about what we're looking at here? Honestly, for me, but also for our listeners. Like, what's the obviously I know what my heart rate is beats per minute, but what do we want to see there? Is bad like high, is bad low, and then the HRV.
So the thing is this, right? If you look at it like a bell curve, right? There's two ways to look at it. There is an anecdotal person by person way to look at it, and then there's a bell curve to look at it. From the bell curve approach, generally speaking, right, somebody who is below 50 BPM when they fall asleep is really getting a bang for their buck when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to sleep. And same thing with the HRV, the higher it goes. Now, with a lot of these these tech devices, over time they take the baseline, they just keep averaging and averaging and averaging. So if you're always cranking out specific numbers, they're going to make it relative to you.
Got it.
Yeah, so the first number being beats per minute, a good indicator is if your digestive system, which is at like gut health. Oh, you know more than anybody. So yeah, so gut health is essentially one of the bigger indicators of how much bang for your buck you're going to get with your sleep. Because if your heart rate is elevated too much, you're obviously still digesting, and if you're still digesting, the body is not going to crank its horsepower towards sleep and recovery.
Yeah.
With the HRV, that is more of a nervous system. Now, all these things kind of work at the same, but the HRV is more of like a nervous system. Are you able to wind down your nervous system and kind of just allow the sleep to really extract, the juices of your REM cycles? So yeah, so for the most part, that's what we got going on over there with those
And
metrics.
so when you talked about the variability, you said higher is better.
Higher is better because okay, so I love that question. I get that a lot as a health coach. The best way, and I've been really brainstorming on how to articulate the meaning of HRV in a very concise way, right? Think of a car's gearbox, right? A transmission, right? I want you to compare two types of gearboxes. I want you to compare the gearbox um of a Formula One car, right? I played Forza. If you play Forza
Yeah,
Motorsport,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you could probably know where I'm getting at. And then compare that with the gearbox of not a Ford F-150. Let's blow it out of proportion. Let's call it an 18 wheeler, right?
Yeah.
The manual ones. Now, then HRV essentially is a gearbox within your brain, meaning how quick can your brain switch from stress, de-stress. So think of now I want you to picture, right? These two cars are racing on a track with a lot of turns. Okay. Now in the downshift, the Formula One car in the downshift will probably go like make that turn.
Yeah.
That would be a high HRV. The 18 wheeler will
Right.
make the turn. So, and that will be on the lower end. So these are the two extremes. And the idea with the HRV is it's the unit is called milliseconds,
Yeah.
meaning uh you know heart rate variability within milliseconds and how quickly your brain can switch gears. So that's the most, hopefully
So
that
for
makes sense.
me, so I take my ring off, say I play basketball, say I do something athletic, I play golf, not that that really strains me too much, but like typically if I'm doing something athletic, I do like to take the ring off just because like it gets in the way a little bit, like for shooting
Same.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
So is that going to be why I may see a lower HRV because I'm not actually showing it when I'm stressing myself as much?
So sleep. So the Aura Ring recently launched not too long ago, some time ago. They launched a daytime HRV indicator, if you will. For the most part, they've been looking at nighttime. But
Yeah.
to answer your question though, if you are engaging in physical activity, things like that, where there's a lot of brain power, brain juices flowing, what you're doing is you're actually priming yourself for really good HRV during that sleep. So there is a correlation. If you are doing sports, your HRV is going to be higher. Now, in terms of the features between the nighttime HRV and the daytime HRV, I typically take mine because I work out a lot. So you'll probably see it's like all scratched up and stuff.
Yeah.
I usually like to take it off during the daytime. So it doesn't have like a whole lot of data points for the daytime. But yeah, for the most part, it understands that the nighttime is easier to keep it on. Daytime, you
Love
might
it.
want to wash
This
dishes.
is super insightful. So then last question for me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing pretty good at, my beats per minute. Obviously I got like a nice little heart rate and that's me. Like, listen, I could go play basketball for 3 hours and outrun everybody in the gym. That's just how I was built, right? Like I can run forever,
Let's
but
go.
how do I improve that variability? What could I do to maybe see that improve?
So a lot of that is, and this is what my tech company and other tech companies like Roulette, you'll see them try to delve into. So a lot of it has to do with neuroplasticity, meaning you remember the flu game, right? This is
Yeah.
yeah, 97, I think, NBA finals. The question is, how can somebody's body temperature elevate their body's trying to get rid of sickness? And we're talking about drenched in sweat during an NBA final and crank out 44 points or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's nuts. So essentially that is neuroplasticity. That is, and this is why we're seeing a lot of like if you look on the hashtags on something like Instagram, right? You look at meditation or whatever, you're not seeing much growth. But when you see mindset, you've probably seen like an explosion
Yeah.
in the pep talk, motivation kind of things. That's because of things like self talk. Really, that's like the very nitty gritty. Because essentially, what Michael Jordan did was his HRV, I can imagine, was extremely high. Because what he essentially did was he looked at himself in the mirror. Same thing with Kobe.
Oh
Kobe
yeah.
is probably his is probably nuts, but he just looked in the mirror and just said, it's time to go. Nothing else. It's time to go. Simple as that. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what's happening with your body. There's nothing. Even when Kobe, he tore his patella tendon and
Mm-hmm.
still shot the free throws, like not patella, I think Achilles tendon, and then
Yeah.
walked himself,
Which
bro.
is one of the most painful injuries you can have.
Oh, I can
But
only,
it's also why those two guys are two of the greatest athletes we've ever seen.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Killers. But like I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about elite athletes. It's like if you have to think, you lose.
yeah,
You have to, and it's also so my alma mater, UConn, I talk about them all the time. I got my signed jersey back there, but like, I think about they practice so hard that their practices are probably just as hard as games to the point where they're in a game and they don't have to think because they do it every day in, day out. And that's that neuroplasticity, right?
yes, yes, yes. So tip. So like, how does this all boil down to something like increased HRV sleep? Is essentially one of the best things that I tell my clients is write down all your problems, because here's the thing. You go to sleep, you wake up, the problems are going to be there. The problems
Yeah.
were there before you went to sleep. The problems are going to be there when you wake up. So what you want to do is just purge the mind. As soon as you purge the mind, make yourself excited for the next day. Look forward to the next day. You know what, essentially it's what state is your headspace going into sleep with? When your melatonin window, and this is where we talk about body clock science, when your melatonin window kind of activates,
Mm-hmm.
what headspace are you in? Because things like hormones will factor into the headspace, and that's how you'll wake up with higher cortisol levels, whatever the case is. These things are all necessary mechanisms. There's no good or bad. It's just simply what's happening and how much manipulation or advantage you're taking of these mechanisms. You get
Love
me?
that. Great advice. I love this stuff. So let's get into the weeds a little bit. I don't know the answer to this, but background for us, right? Family pharmacy, but we're the anti-pharmacy pharmacists. We believe in
Yeah.
lifestyle. We believe in improving chronic conditions, starting with your, toxic exposure, your nutrition, your food, your sleep, your relationships, your mental health. And then if we do need supplementation, then we offer that. And then lastly, if we do need some level of pharmaceutical intervention, then we look at that. But that's the last resort for us. And so, supplementation, one of the big things for us, this isn't even out yet. Uh, we just launched a sleep support product, and it is absolutely not melatonin. Melatonin, most people don't know that melatonin is actually a hormone, right? It can be very detrimental if you take it long term to try to promote sleep. But sleep, like when I think of my hierarchy, you even reposted my video about this, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. I say it all
Nah,
the
beat
time.
the dead
But
horse. I
like,
love this stuff, man. Let's go.
yeah, sleep is the most important to me. Then it's hydration, then it's my nutrition. Now they're all important, no doubt. But if you're not sleeping well, you're not recovering, it then plays into everything. And so many people struggle with sleep. What's been so cool about this product. So, and by the way, all the supplements we do, like we don't try to recreate what's amazing. My dad and brother have worked with most of these formulators for decades, and we partner with them to bring them out through the Feel Good Lab. So we can pick the right formulas from the right partners for each different
Mwah.
use case, but we're not out there like, trying to reformulate. Our core is in the OTC topical pain relief,
Yeah,
obviously in the food inflammation testing. From a supplement standpoint, it brings the worlds together. So I
absolutely.
caveat that with like, we didn't come up with this, but here's what's amazing. There's this probiotic that's been clinically studied, and I would butcher it if I try to explain the 80-letter name of it, but it's been clinically studied to support mood and stress response. Well, guess what? The main reason people aren't sleeping well is, you just nailed it. They don't do that debrief where they sleep with this high level of stress. They can't shut off, right? I'm
Yeah,
one of those people. So what's happened is my brother and dad are using this mood support probiotic, and for people that are having trouble sleeping, so many, not every single thing works for every person, but so many people that have tried everything. They've tried
yeah.
pharmaceuticals, they've tried
Oh,
melatonin, they've tried hypnosis, they've tried everything. This is the only product that's worked for them.
yeah,
And I think it's a unique case for the people that are those kind of overthinkers and they go to sleep with a lot of that stress. So
yeah.
we took that formula and we put it into our sleep support probiotic.
You, you,
And
you
so,
know,
and but what's cool, but here's the caveat. I want to get your opinion on this. What did I just say? It's a probiotic. It's gut health,
it's good health,
sleep and gut. The gut is where it all starts, right?
bro.
It's so connected.
This is why. Yeah, man. It's sad. It's sad because it's like duh, like in terms of like, come on, people, you guys keep trying to look for to reinvent the wheel, and come on, man, fundamentals, baby. You know what, Ryan? You're Send me $20. I'll sell those. I'll hit the corner of the block and sell those for you,
I
bro.
don't doubt it. We should get you some though. We'll get a use case going. Like I said, it's not even up on our website yet. I literally picked these up from the pharmacy today, but
Yeah,
we're fired up. And this isn't, we've probably sold 1,000 of these so far over the past year and a half. Some
nice.
people coming in buying 12 boxes at a time because that's how impactful it is to their sleep. But the
Yes.
beauty is, it's not some of these detrimental drugs that can cause you to get addicted, where now you're not even getting into the levels of REM. Again, we've got the kind of data to track that.
Yeah.
It's so important that you don't, like, as an example, I used to smoke pot. Okay. I used to smoke a lot of pot. I used to think to myself, it's part of being an addict, like, oh, it helps me sleep. It makes me sleep better. First of all, no, it doesn't. Just because you're sleeping doesn't mean you're recovering. Okay. I
Ooh,
wasn't getting into those same levels of sleep. But here's the other crazy thing. And here's how I knew this is one of the reasons I quit. There's many reasons I went into it. Man, I feel so much better without it. Every time I would quit, the dreams would hit me like a freight train. Do you think dreams happen by accident?
oh no, it's very intentional.
So if you're blocking those dreams from happening, which would happen when I was constantly smoking,
Yeah,
that is so bad. I realized, like, man, I'm not sleeping better. I'm
yeah,
actually sleeping way worse. Way worse.
yeah. You hit it on the head. So here's so I'm so happy. Oh, thank you. So my protocol. So a lot of so health coach wise, right? Protocol. My protocol has been so mundane. Not even mundane. What's the word? Very intensive because I do have probiotic. I do so a few things that I incorporate. is a probiotic, a prebiotic, and this is specifically around dinner time,
Yeah.
right? If you want to optimize your gut health throughout the day, but dinner time, the stakes are high in terms of the quality of the sleep, which the stakes are high to the quality of your wake up and getting the jet to take off the airport in the morning. Um, Probiotics are an essential, and I noticed this through my own anecdotal research with myself, and I'm glad you have this product because the amount of freaking yogurt that I require myself to eat around right now is my yogurt time period,
Yeah.
around like 2:30, 3:30, and I do that with like a good 3 hours before dinner. I've done it with dinner, and I've been trying to like play around with it, like if probiotic prior to dinner, so it hits the gastric phase by the time I'm having dinner, and then if I have my dinner with a prebiotic, fiber or whatever the case is, and then maybe an hour or two after dinner, I follow that with maybe an apple cider vinegar or some kind of blood sugar stabilizer, whatever the case is. I will sleep really well, and the truth is, yes, you will sleep really well, but the level of intensiveness that requires. Okay, 3:30 p.m. Okay, let me have a yogurt. Okay, cool. Dinner time. I can't have dinner more than X amount of hours before sleep. I want to make sure that I have about 5 hours of window. Okay, cool. So if I'm going to sleep, you get what I'm saying? But
100%.
if somebody just happened to create the feel good lab and was able to pioneer some kind of product, this will be great.
Well,
Especially, yeah,
here's what I love about the collaboration. And you and I just met each other, but like we're cut from
yeah,
the
we
same
did
cloth, and
like
there's
a
so
week
many cool
ago.
things. Yeah. But here's the important thing, and this is why you're so important in the puzzle. There's no one size fits all. And your job is to understand the needs of different people. First of all, men and women are different when it comes to metabolic cycle and those sort of things. So everyone is unique. It's one of the reasons, one of the tests that we do at the Field Lab is our food inflammation test, because there's no one size fits all diet. For
Yeah,
some people, gluten is fine. For some people, it's absolutely awful. For some people, it's paleo. For some people, it's
yeah.
keto. For all these different great diets, they can work for different people. But you got to find what's right for you. And
You,
that's what's cool is like you're actually saying, okay, I am feeling good, but like, how do I optimize?
yeah,
Now, 99.99% of people aren't built like you. I'm not built like you. Like, and I'm pretty far up there, but like, I'm not even close to you thinking about this level of stuff. But that's what it comes down to is like, you're actually practicing what you're preaching, but then listening to your clients. So some of them, it wouldn't make sense for you to give this protocol to because they're probably not able to follow just one little tip. You need to give them something that's convenient and simple.
thank you.
And that's where we're trying to balance because we believe in personalized medicine.
Yeah,
We believe in treating the person as an individual. Everyone is completely unique. So when we work with somebody at the pharmacy, we're looking at genetics, micronutrients, also the food inflammation testing. Now, my job at the Feel Good Lab is to bring it out to as many people as possible. Well, you start to get into murky waters of trying to treat people as personas. In a best case scenario, now you create these buckets of personas that you can help, but you potentially lose that personal touch. So
yeah,
what I love about connecting with you and connecting with other health coaches and physicians and chiropractors is you don't lose that touch.
yeah,
You're actually seeing it day to day and you're helping to guide me and making sure that we don't,
yeah,
right? Because everyone's different. I mean, you could probably think about two different clients you're working with that need completely different things to get to the same end goal.
yeah. Yeah, it's the level of anecdotes that as we as health coaches see it's phenomenal. I would say it's helped me in my own studies and research because people can have the same goal, and it's like this path and this path, they're different paths, but they all just meet at that one goal. Some people have the bandwidth, some people have the taste tolerance. I didn't even realize taste tolerance was really a thing until like year 5 of my career, and I'm like, wait, why do you not want to eat 365 bowls of oatmeal a year and hard-boiled eggs to go with it every single morning? What? But then you start to factor in, and then there's more intangibles. So yeah, to your point, it is from a health coaching perspective, it's very good that you are innovating this kind of new technology because it takes a lot of slices. It checks off boxes. It checks off.
What do you see when people come to work with you, right? And you gave that caveat earlier for those of you that missed it. So what's cool? I mean, obviously you're at Equinox. We're talking like pretty elite gym, but you're also working with people that get that service through having an Amex Centurion membership. And so they're coming to see you. Oftentimes these are, high performing people that expect a lot, right? What are you seeing as a common goal that a lot of your clients come to you with? Is it weight loss? Is it performance? Is it mental performance on the job? Is it physical performance still? What are you seeing?
Funny enough, I swear I was not paid to say this. It's pain. It's it is any form of it is for the most part it's uncertainty,
Right.
but after the uncertainty is the pain. They just want to feel good. I swear I was not paid to say that. You know what? You went and got the right name for your company, man, because it all just fits there.
It
But
wasn't me, homie. It wasn't me. You know what I
but
mean? Some things just happen the right way.
it just happened, baby, and that's it, bro. But yeah, it's for the most part is pain and uncertainty. They want to reduce the uncertainty of the costs and requirements of their goals, right? What does point B need from me? That's what they want to figure out. And then after that is how can I get to point B without having to endure unnecessary pain? So for the most part, and then comes the weight loss and things like that. But for the most part, weight loss is not the top thing actually. For a lot of these people, it's the uncertainty and it's the pain. They just want to feel good. And then
Right.
if you can throw weight loss on there, that's like the fruit on the tree. That's like the ripe, juicy fruit.
And I think you and I are similar age, right? I'm 37. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29.
Yeah,
Attaboy. Okay, you're
we're
killing it, dog. So,
I
but
didn't even know
either
you.
way,
I thought you were like freaking 28, man. You
I
keep it
know,
on
I
your
look
youth.
young, and I'm not saying you look old. I'm not saying you look old. I'm not trying to age you.
Yeah, yeah,
But the point that I wanted to make, it still rings true. I mean, listen, I wish I was 29. I'll tell you that much because it didn't hit me until literally the past 2 years. But I'm kind of a late bloomer, so I'm a little bit different in that threshold. But the point is boy, am I realizing I'm not in my prime anymore. And my prime did
yeah.
extend into my early 30s athletically. So, but now the injuries stack up and now I'm fighting from behind. And obviously I do this for my day job. So it's not like I'm like, focusing on my performance all day. I think I probably could physically feel so much better if I had the prioritization of that. But the point is, like, it hits you real quick. And then the next thing you know, you're behind the eight ball. So
Yeah.
now instead of like, oh, I want to perform at a higher level when I go play basketball, it's I just want to be able to go home and walk. Like, and it happened like that in an instant. And
Yeah.
this quote that we say at the Feel Good Lab, we've got it plastered everywhere we can. It's from Confucius. It's as old as we can remember. And it's a rich man wants 10,000 things, but a sick man only wants one. And what I see from that is oftentimes it's too late till we realize that. So we are sick and all we can think about is getting better. But when we're healthy, those 10,000 things, one of those things isn't being healthy. We take
Yeah.
it for granted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 1,000%, man. Yeah, a lot of my clients I've noticed over time too, when once especially like with the family threshold or age threshold, it's like, aches start nagging for a little bit longer than needed. You cough bad one way and now your ribs are a little bit shot and you got a knot and you sleep wrong one way, now your arm is out of commission for the whole day. But yeah, it's when it comes to pain mitigation and things like that, the older we get, the older the human body gets, we do want to pay more attention to detail. And unfortunately some people don't have that level of bandwidth yet. And it's great that we do have guys like you and myself, health coaches, feel good lab to really help people bridge that gap, because the uncertainty can really screw up your head.
100%. And it is a lot of a mind game. I used to be so petrified of the placebo effect.
Mm,
I know you're raising money right now and you're on the grind with the business. And one thing you'll learn is it's a scary world out there because most people are in those audiences are going to shoot you down until you got a stupid idea. Listen, if everybody thought you had a good idea, everybody would do it. But you get people that are kind of like, they come at you. This is nothing more than the placebo effect. I'd hear it all the time. And it would upset me. I'd say, no, it's not. It really works and all this. I'd try to fight it. Guess what I say now?
let's hear it.
Good,
Let's hear it.
good, good. First of all, it's not the placebo effect. And I know that. Many different reasons I could get into. If I help you, listen, I have all of these handwritten notes. I have multiple handwritten notes. right? From people that said we've
That's a good
changed their
ass
life.
handwriting. Sheesh.
I promise you a piece of it is efficacy of our product, but I also promise you a piece of it is up here.
Yeah,
Okay. Whether you think you can or can't, you're right.
you're right.
So, our job as a brand is to help give people hope first and foremost, and then to deliver them incredible products that exceed their expectations. But if we do not give them hope, our products aren't going to work.
Yeah.
Even if we get the best product in the world, because my customer in pain, we call her Battle and Barbara, right? She's the person I talk to all the time after we go on Good Morning America and QVC. And these are exactly what she says to me pretty much every time. I've tried everything, and all I want is a couple more good days. I don't want you to cure my pain. I just want a few more good days. I want to play with my grandkids. I want to be able to garden. I want to go golf. I want to just have a little bit of my life back. Not, I don't even expect to be completely pain free. In fact, most of the time, she doesn't think it's even possible.
Mm.
So when I just listen and I say, like, you know how hard it is to treat chronic pain. You've been living with it for sometimes up to a decade, but there is hope. There's absolutely things we can do to make you feel better.
Yeah.
That first step is honestly oftentimes, so now you talk about the placebo effect. It's one of the most powerful tools we have in medicine. Our bedside manner, the way that you communicate with your clients and make them feel like they can do something, that oftentimes is just as important as you making them do the push-ups.
It goes a long way. It goes, and then over time, as progress happens,
They
you know,
believe more in themselves. They build the
it,
confidence, then they don't need you there giving them that.
that's it. That's
100%.
it. The belief, man, is the belief. Is key. People. A lot of times people ask me questions like, do detoxes work, or what do you think about intermittent fasting? And my answer to them is, it works, but not necessarily in the way that you might imagine. Right. And here's where, and that's why you'll see a lot of the fitness industry and the wellness industry. You'll see a lot of them are like gimmick based. And it's not necessarily because, well, of course, there is a marketing thing to it, but the idea is really just belief. They want to have you hang on and adhere enough to get the ball rolling. You pick up that momentum, and you just claim that the momentum that you picked up was from the use of whatever
Yeah.
the approach was. And then the ball is rolling. And then that's when the thing actually kicks in, because the biggest difference maker was the person's own ability to believe in that approach that they were using. So
I
yeah,
love that. I
yeah,
love that. I got two questions for you
yeah.
to end this. The first is, and we can go a little bit deep into this because you probably are. I want to learn your wellness protocol, your nutrition protocol. We talked a little bit about sleep and all that. Like, give it to me. Like, what are you doing? What's a day in the life of Coach Shark like?
Whew, wow, it's funny you actually say that, because I have everything. I keep it up. So I got my iPad right here.
Yeah.
Um and in my iPad I keep a few journals, right? So I have a few journals of things that I'm hitting. So
Yeah, just a few.
yeah. So my subs, my 4.5 sleep cycles, my breakfast, which is fiber and gut health. It's I swear I was not paid for this, folks. But there are certain things though, like charts. I'll keep charts. I have my app stack. So my app stack consists of these 9 apps. This is my sleep tracker, the Aura. This is a second sleep tracker. This is a regular tracker. This is the Whoop. So for the most part, these are all trackers. Um, and then my nutrition protocol is 365 bowls of oatmeal every single morning with hard boiled eggs and a banana. If you want to know the secret to breakfast, it's in the B, the vitamin B. Anything that starts with a B has vitamin B. Bananas, whole wheat bread, eggs. But no, to circle back on this, that's why I'm founding. So I have a tech company, right? Spirit,
Yeah.
and we're actually a metabolic research company that's transitioning into tech. What we're doing is we're launching a excuse me, we're launching a health performance and routine app, right, that uses data from smart wearables to help users navigate their body clock's peak hours. So right now, everything that I'm showing you, right, these charts, the app stack, all these different trackers, eventually society will reach a point, especially like a power user like myself, like a true biohacker, right? And I've actually thresholded these levels. I'm what you would call a stage 4 or level 4 biohacker. That is like, this person could probably predict what their heart rate will be in 3 nights from now, right? And these people exist And but all these vitality solutions, there you got a chart here, you got 9 apps here, you use 4 different trackers. So the idea behind the app that we're designing at Spear Health is, how are we going to unify all of this? How can we streamline all these workflows into one place?
Yeah,
So
make it simple for someone like me, because I'm not a stage 4. I'm a stage -4.
this
Maybe I'm a stage 1. I got my aura ring. I take it back. I'm a
right,
stage 1.
right, right. Stage one is to give a damn. But yeah, for the most part, it's pretty intensive. It requires I etch out like 10% of my entire brain power just to be able to, pay attention to all these things. But I mean, on a simple note, just hire a health coach. Just outsource the brain power elsewhere. Let somebody do all that stuff. As long as you're okay with tracking at least, sleep, you're in good hands.
I love that. Well, that's a great transition into my last question. I like to end with this. You talked a little bit about Spear Health. I can't wait to see what you guys do. I definitely will be a user. If you can simplify all this stuff to get more actionable for me, and that's really what the Feel Good Lab podcast is all about, helping people take all this data out there. There's so much, and actually get actionable insights to improve
Yeah.
their wellness and health. So for you, I want you to think 5 years out into the future,
Ooh.
right? What is, like, if you were to look back at yourself, today and your 5 years in the future, say, Coach Shark, dude, you absolutely crushed it. Whether it be your wellness with your business, what does the world look like for you? Like, what are you going to accomplish when you get there in 5 years?
So 5 years. I, I'll play it from 1 year ahead and then skip to 5 years. So from the year 2025, right? I've predicted this. From the year 2025, a lot of people. So all the vitality solutions that I showed you, right? Boom, with the apps and everything like that. Around the year 2025, a lot of people are going to start asking the same way in 2006, Microsoft Suite, Google Chrome, Google Suite, blah 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 blah. They're like, who's going to unify and automate all of this stuff? And then Zapier pops up, and then you see
Yep.
Monday.com pops up, and all of these guys, CRMs. Around in 2025, in the mid 2020s, people are going to start asking the question, where is the unification tech? Where is the tech where I'm supposed to take all these several solutions and unify them? So once that happens, here we are. Oh, hey, we have a polished, refined tech. I know you guys just started asking the question, but it's already refined because we asked this question 5 years prior. Now, at year 5, we're expecting to be able to be that company that can sustain 10,000 monthly active users while also giving them rewards, right? So partnership for us at Spear Health on the company aspect is very important. So if we have us having things like the Feel Good Lab, right? Our users being able to access, like what are the power users accessing? That's simply it, right? These people are eventually going to ask the question, okay, this guy is super clutch at life. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Okay, the Feel Good Lab. That's one of our proud partners. Whatever the case is, and wink, wink, wink. But it'll become one of those things where our users can access. Okay, Feel Good Lab. Oh, by the way, use the probiotic. This is how you want to. Blah blah blah. Sports. Where the heck is my sports recovery? Right here, right here. Use this bad boy last night. Oh, this thing is like
You feeling
crack,
good?
man. Oh, bro, my freaking hamstrings were sizzling. Bro, it was like soothing, bro. But put some on my back, and bro, I'm like 6'5", 250, bro. Everything hurts. So it's basically lotion. As the name suggests, right there,
Yeah.
sport recovery lotion. My life is a sport. Therefore, this is the lotion I use.
Let's go.
Um,
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
5 years from now, a ton of people are on the wave. A ton of people understand it.
Yep.
A lot of us are becoming more health focused. So that's really where we're trying to head towards.
Bro, you nailed it. I want to end on this note. The Feel Good Lab, we've had our best year over 3 years in a row, right? We're really, really ramping up. But here's what I learned. When I tell people I've been doing this over 6 years, they're like, wait, what? First of all, it's going to look like an overnight success when it's all said and done. It's going to look that way. It always does. You have to be 5 years too early. You have to have the vision to see where the ball is going, like in hockey or in soccer, right? But at the same time, you have to have the perseverance to be early, because when it's
Woo.
right on time, when the consumers need you and you say, yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years, where have you been? Listen, we've been talking about health and wellness when it comes to treating pain for 6 years. Just finally the wave is coming. And I can tell you all the different reasons for it. It's the same wave that's coming for you. right?
Ooh,
If
yeah,
we do not get proactive with treating our chronic conditions, look at the charts for what chronic conditions are doing in the United States. It's
yeah,
the most scary thing. We're seeing disease from 70-year-olds that's now showing up in kids under 5 years old. Why? The food that we're eating, the mental health epidemic, all these things. We can be proactive. We can reverse course on this. But the point is, between what you're doing and what I'm doing, and many others, by the way, we're not the only ones. The beauty in this is we're all fighting the same fight. And being 5 years too early is exactly what's going to make you successful.
yeah. I appreciate that, man. Listen, I hope because the thing is this, right? I put my life savings into all of this, and that's because I wholeheartedly do want to see this thing become my life's work, right? And I appreciate the sentiment. I do want to see this thing really like, hit it out of the park the way I'm anticipating it. And 5 years from now, I'm founders like yourself. Um, Before this, I met with Patrick Candela from Roulette. It's good to have also have this community, and I thank you for that. To know that there are other people like me who can talk the talk, walk the walk, look the part, etc. Shoot threes from the logo because
Now I got a
essentially,
mid-range game though. I don't shoot threes.
um, yeah, man. So I appreciate that because 5 years from now, we're definitely trying to go over every single obstacle, overcome every obstacle that every challenge, and just keep doing that. That's really the name of the game. Just survive,
Yeah,
live,
100%.
thrive.
Be
Yeah,
resilient. But that's why being an athlete is so helpful. Listen, I didn't play to the level you did, but I grew up the oldest of five. All we did was compete. The resilience that we learned from athletics is so important in being an entrepreneur. Because like
yeah,
Elon Musk says, it's like eating glass and staring into the abyss. And guess what? I used to think, don't worry, I'll outgrow the problems. I'll outgrow the problems. Bro, it's the opposite. The bigger you get, the bigger the problems get. And your job as a CEO is to deal with the problems. That's what you get paid the big bucks for. So when you work on something you love so much, that you're so passionate about, that those problems, they actually are not something you are like petrified from. They're actually something that excite you, right? Which is
yeah,
exactly what I can sense in you, and that's what I
yeah,
have. You know,
yeah.
that's the
Oh,
secret sauce, and that's why most people can't do this because it's
yeah.
hard. But you gotta love eating the glass.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, man. It's like when the moment is calling onto your name, you're like, all right, cool. I'm good, coach. Coach, put me in. I
Yeah,
swear, put me in, coach.
yeah. It's like
You
we
know?
talked about Kobe and Michael. You think those guys were having fun?
Yeah,
Was it
yeah,
fun? It wasn't fun.
yeah.
You
No,
know.
they were freaking, bro. They were staring into the abyss for sure. They were
Yeah, but they
they were
loved
fist
it.
fighting
They
with
did
the.
love it, but they didn't. Their goal was not to have fun.
Yeah,
Their
yeah,
goal
yeah,
was to perform optimally.
yeah. Even in the words of Kobe, the job's not done. Job's not
Job's not
finished.
done. Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Am I happy? What?
Yeah.
I still gotta freaking crush these guys. You know?
Exactly.
Oh
So,
boy.
Coach, last thing, any last words? Where can people find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Shark. That's Coach SHARQ
With a Q, don't forget that.
with a Q. Don't forget that. Strength, health, actual real quality. That's the idea. So, Coach Shark, follow me on Instagram. I promise you're gonna love all of my content. My goal is to bring the best out of anybody, and I have proven that time and time again, and I will continue to prove that.
Coach, my guy. I can't wait to get to know you more. You're an absolute hero in my life, someone I look up to. The energy you bring, it's contagious. So we will be in touch. We're gonna meet in person. It's so funny when you meet people over the internet, you're like 6'5", 250. I'm like, now I just have a different perspective of you, right? But I can't wait to meet you in person. Maybe we'll do our next podcast live together in the
Absolutely.
same
I'm
room.
looking forward to it, Ryan, man. This is great, bro. Thank you.
All right, my guy. We'll talk soon.
All right. All right. Bye.